I had a tutor that used to say you can't understand the New Testament unless you read your maps. You see where Paul went. I used to draw a map, but I can't draw these. Good, these. But you go to Asia Minor. Here's, say, where he sets off Jerusalem. He goes to Asia Minor. As Kipling would say, after he got saved, after he got vision, he put on his 7-league boots and he strode over Asia Minor. Well, you just trace in the back of your Bible, or get a Phillips Atlas of the Bible. See how many miles he went without automobiles, without planes. He went on ships. They wouldn't allow to go up a river these days. The Union wouldn't let them go. No wonder he says he was in death's oft, in weariness, in fasting, in painfulness. He does more than a dozen men. You know, as I prayed this afternoon, I said, God, give me just 1% of the passion and vision and unction that man had. He outprayed everybody, outfasted everybody, outpreached everybody. And he says, I want Christ to be glorified in my body. You know, Christ gave all he had for us. And you've got to give all you have for him. He won't ask of you anything less than he gave. He won't ask any more than he gave. But that's his right. You see, the paradox is that God always uses dead men. He doesn't use live men. He uses dead men. This man had an experience of dying. Let me go back here a minute. There's some wonderful things in this epistle. One thing, I don't know if you've noticed it, but never once does he mention sin in this epistle. I'll tell you what he does, though. And remember, he's writing from a stinking prison. During World War II, we were in England, and we read in the newspaper that some prisoners in a prison in America had gone on strike because they're only getting one egg in the morning. We only got one a month in England. Boy, prison in America is like the Waldorf Astoria. They go on strike, they can't have coloured TV. Isn't that degrading? Poor souls. They ought to be rejoicing in it. They can't have enough ping pong. They can't do this, can't do the other. Here, Paul is in one of the worst prisons that the world ever had. And yet 14 times in this epistle he says either joy or rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. You remember that he's... in the Thessalonian epistle he says that we were shamefully entreated at Philippi. You remember they put him in jail. What? No. It's a strange world we live in, you know. If you do bad things, they put you in jail. If you do good things, you put you in jail. How many of you want to go to jail? A Baptist preacher was put in jail in England many years ago, and in the course of being there for 15 years, and how many prayers do you think were asked? Lord, liberate him, liberate him. You got Paul out of prison. God didn't want him liberating. People call me sometimes, would you ask the Lord to take this burden on me? No, somebody else has been praying, he put it on you. The only way you get sense and reality is carry that burden. John Bunyan, 14 years in Bedford prison. I sat in his chair once. It didn't make me write any better. But I had the joy of sitting in the chair where he used to sit. I sat in another chair that used to be occupied by Adam Clark, the great expositor. But it didn't make me a good expositor. I sat in a chair that the King of England sat in. But it didn't make me a king either. But in the prison adversity, he's saying listen, come on you folk, rejoice in the Lord, rejoice. Why do you hang your head?